my message to those in the streets of the city of Columbus that we have been working with in the last 2 days and to our whole community. Enough.
The Columbus police chief is sending a strong message, and day 3 of protests in downtown Columbus is bringing a new curfew and the National Guard. Thanks so much for joining us for 10 TV News at 6. I'm Brittany Bailey. Now, protesters are still in downtown Columbus at this hour. We want to give you a quick look at that. Columbus police did declare a state of emergency in downtown. We will be checking in with our crews there in just a moment. But first, we do want to get to some big news coming from our state and city's top leaders. The National Guard is headed our way, and so is a new citywide curfew. 10 TV's Bennett Haverly has more on that. Good evening, Bennett.
Brittany, with the governor and the mayor, and police chief Thomas Quinlan spoke to reporters within the past half hour or so. You can see there are clearly people gathering here this evening in downtown as the curfew is about to start, including this gentleman behind me. But the point of the message from both the governor and the mayor and the police chief was that they felt like the protesters, while they have a right to come here and express themselves, what they don't have a right to, in their view, was to vandalize, which is why the governor has now said that he wants to call in the National Guard along with the State Highway Patrol to help enforce the laws here in Columbus. Here's what the governor had to say.
The vast majority of demonstrators want simply to be heard. They want to focus attention on the tragic death of George Floyd, and they want to focus attention on other injustices. We always, always welcome such voices.
And we also heard from the mayor, who told us that over the past few days of these protests here in downtown Columbus, which are the result of George Floyd, who died in Minneapolis police custody several days ago, he basically said that the protesters have caused damage to over 100 public and private businesses. There have been 10 businesses that have been looted, 5 officers that were injured, about a dozen or so people who were arrested for failing to obey verbal orders or for alleged rioting. The remarks, we asked them, both the mayor and Chief Quinlan, about their response to the police's behavior. Because earlier today, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty and a city councilor, our city council president, were both pepper sprayed. The mayor said he feels like overall the police response here has been appropriate over the past few days. But if there are individual instances that he needs to look at or that Chief Quinlan needs to look at, he believes that the police department and its chief will do so. Of course, we'll keep you updated as things develop here. As you can see, there's a number of traffic trying to get into downtown here at the 6 o'clock hour before all these streets are shut down. There's more people just within the past hour or so that have now started to move about the State House. Brittany?
All right, Bennett, thank you so much.
Stand up for what you believe in, because they're down there right now and it's really emotional. And I can feel it, and like, I don't know how to absorb it because this is the first time I've ever seen it.
And protesters are back in downtown Columbus for the 3rd straight day. Most are there to protest the death of George Floyd, as we've been talking about today. 10 TV's Stephanie Stanovich is downtown, where police again have declared a state of emergency and closed off streets to non-emergency traffic. Stephanie, what are you seeing?
Brittany, good evening. So since we have been here for the past several hours, I mean, we've seen the crowd kind of grow since we have been here. First, they were on Broad and High, but you can see right now they are right behind me, right in front of the State House. Now, we're kind of staying back here a little ways because there has been some running. We don't want to get in the way. So you can see the large crowd here. They're chanting. They're holding up signs. You have the mounted unit here, officers behind them. Franklin County sheriffs are here. So the crowd is growing. Now, I will say for the most part, the protest was peaceful, but it did change a little bit ago. We have seen water bottles being thrown, but we've also seen police deploy their pepper spray and tear gas, setting people running down the street. Look, you can see here, yep, people are starting to run this way. You can see they're coming this way. That's when this has happened a few times now. Police have deployed their tear gas or pepper spray. It just sends people in every which direction. And we spoke to several protesters here today, and they say that there's mixed opinions. Some want the peaceful protest, and then others say this is how they are going to get their voices heard. So we've spoken to several protesters, but they do say they want to make it very clear that they say that this message, this protest, it goes way beyond George Floyd. They are here to honor George, but they say it goes way beyond that. They want their voices heard. They are tired. We did speak to one of the protesters. Take a listen.
Don't come out here to be violent. Don't come out here to say that I have the loudest mouth and that they don't matter. The cops do matter. There are so many good things that they've done. Our community matters. There's so many great things that happen. But if you're coming out here to destroy it, stay home.
All right, now, like I said, again, you could see everybody just kind of ran towards this way. We're still right in front of the State House. They were just on Broad and High. We're gathered kind of on the lawn here, right in the street. You have the mounted unit. Everybody's kind of running. They're holding up their signs. And again, when we spoke with Taylor, he mentioned too, you could hear more of the tear gas being deployed. But when we spoke with Taylor, he says he doesn't want this to happen all night. He says he wants a peaceful protest. He wants people to come here for the right reasons. And it's different mixed opinions here on what people want, but the similar opinion here, the similar message is that they want their voices heard. They say that they're tired. The protesters say they're not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting for what they believe in. So, Brittany, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, Stephanie, one quick question for you. The streets were supposed to close to non-emergency traffic at 6 o'clock. We're a few minutes past that. We just spoke with Bennett. We still saw traffic on some downtown streets. Are you at a vantage point where you can see if traffic is still making its way through there, how this crowd is continuing to grow?
Brittany, no, we're not able to see any of the traffic, but I can tell you that the crowd is getting larger. I mean, people are still in the streets. They were on the sidewalks for the most part. Sorry about that. It just came our way. But we were in the sidewalks. They are kind of in the street now. So I haven't seen any traffic from what we can see right here in front of the State House.
All right, certainly a large crowd there. Thanks so much, Stephanie. Stay safe out there. Now, in the midst of the protest this morning were three local leaders. Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, Columbus City Council President Shannon Hardin, and Franklin County Commissioner Kevin Boyce were in the midst of it. 10 TV's Glenn McIntyre is live with more on that. Glenn?
Yeah, hey there, Brittany. We see the scene that Stephanie was just describing from a different vantage point right behind us. It's developing and escalating. There was a standoff between officers on horseback and a large crowd. They were standing off in the middle of Broad Street here, and then somebody started throwing bottles toward the police. One bottle, then another bottle, then another bottle, and then it just kind of degraded here. So that's what you see developing behind us. We're hearing some flashbangs go off as we speak. Now, back to the incident this morning. The Congresswoman, City Council President, and County Commissioner were here amid the protesters when a confrontation between an officer and protester got physical. This was captured in a series of photos by Columbus Dispatch photographer Kyle Robertson. The crowd responded, and that's when the officer deployed pepper spray. In that process, Congresswoman Beatty, County Commissioner Kevin Boyce, and City Council President Shannon Hardin were all hit with pepper spray. They posted a video shortly after saying they were fine and calling for peace.
We are encouraging folks to keep calm. We understand the tensions are high. Our tensions are high as well. We are angry as all get out, and we need change. But the only way we will get change is by peaceful demonstration.
But I am so proud of my colleagues. I'm so proud of all the young folks, and we want to continue to protest, but it must be peaceful. And that does not mean that we're not standing up for justice. Someone quoted and hollered out about Martin Luther King. Well, we already know that he stood for peace and justice, but he made a difference.
It just takes one or two individuals to take things sideways, and so we're just calling on everybody in Columbus to protest, but protest peacefully. We know you're with us. We know you denounce racism. We know you want change. We know you want justice, but there's a way to do it. And so we call on you to do it, but do it peacefully.
And we are set to interview Congresswoman Beatty in just a few minutes. We will bring you her message and her thoughts on her experience tonight at 11. Reporting live downtown, Glenn McIntyre, 10 TV News.
All right, Glenn, thank you so much for that.